There's literally dried kids' Play-Doh on this rug. There's like beads. This says Ryan stuff. What is up, guys? It's Ava. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing part 3, the finale, the final countdown of my ghost story. Yeah. Currently rocking my curly hair today, as you guys can see. Got a new background today because we're getting creepy on this channel. A little spooky sesh. I'm pretty congested also. If you guys are new to my channel, hey, my name's Ava and my house has been haunted for the past 3 years. Every time I move, new stuff just happens. Ghosts follow me. I'm basically Danny Phantom at this point. Give this video a big thumbs up if you like when I do story time videos like this, and just like if you like this series in general. Also be sure to hit subscribe if you haven't already. You can hit the bell right there and also click the notification bell if you're already subscribed. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. How my house became haunted, part 3. Let's do it. So I'm gonna start this like I start all of my ghost stories. If you guys haven't seen part 1 and part 2 of my last 2 ghost stories, go to the description box or click the link around here. They'll be here somewhere. But for those that have watched the other 2 parts, or if you just don't care and you just want to hear this part of it for some reason, let's get into it. After I'd gone through the Bel Air house, which was a nightmare, like terrifying, I'd gotten the most amazing house in Malibu. It was right on the water. It was beautiful. It had like the most beautiful sunsets every single night. But due to the fact that that house was just sketchy in general, with the ghost and with just other reasons like people breaking into my house, which is a whole other video, I ended up having to break my lease and having to pay like an immense amount of money each month just to like pay off the Malibu house, even though I'd like written letters to the landlord saying, hey, like this house is really sketchy. This is all the things that have been going on. I don't feel safe here. Legally, I'm pretty sure you're able to like break your lease if you have reasonable reasons that it's just not safe living there, which I did. But I ended up paying for the remaining months that I was supposed to be living in Malibu and just finding a new place to live like immediately. At this time, my boyfriend Adam had kind of like moved in with me. Since he lived in Santa Monica at the time, it wasn't that hard for him to just like spend the night at my house. Adam was just like basically living with me unofficially because he was always there to like protect me. And I'm a very like rock solid, not scared easily person. But this situation was no joke. Like I was not messing around. Never, like literally not a single night that we did not sleep in the same house. So I was really stressed out at this time looking for a new place to live because I was living in Malibu and it was just really scary. I found a place in Beverly Hills and I did not want to live in Beverly Hills at first. Personally for me, it was just a little bit too like hectic LA style for me. But when I was looking online, I found this amazing old style, cottage style, cabin in the woods, Cape Cod vibed home. I find this house and I just immediately fall in love with it. I turned one street and suddenly it was like I was just living in suburbia in like the East Coast. In this house, I had a driveway, like I had a lawn, I had a backyard, I had a pool, I had just everything. I loved the house so much, I got into the car and was literally filling out the leasing application like on the ride home. Moving into Beverly Hills into this house, it felt like a fresh start. Fast forward to a week later, I'd started going to a local church over in Beverly Hills. Church was on Wednesday, and this one particular Wednesday, I invited my mom and my sister to come to church with me and Adam. So we go to church, and then after we come to church, we come back to the house, and this was kind of like the first time my mom had seen the house. My sister goes down the hallway and then comes back into the kitchen where my mom and I are talking, and she just goes, hey, Ava, do you realize you have 2 attics? I've never had an attic before. She goes, you have 2 attics. I'm like, what? So my mom and I go and we follow my sister down the hallway, and all of a sudden we notice that my house has not 1, but 2 creepy attics. Pull the string and suddenly like a drop down staircase comes out. I don't like attics. I've seen, what is that movie? Mr. Boogie. I don't know, but I've seen a ton of scary movies with attics and I know that that does not end well. Not trying to have 2 attics in my house. But in my house, there was 1 attic in this like studio room, which nobody was sleeping in. It was kind of just a room where I kept like stuff that I just didn't want to put in my actual closet. So the attic in the studio room was about the size of like a small bedroom. You could stand, it was really cute. It overlooked the pool. So this attic was like on the safe side. The second attic though, the second attic, I cannot even like explain to you how bad the second attic was. Straight out of a horror film. In one corner, there's like a dripping boiler, which Literally, I'm not even exaggerating, like it's freaking dripping. The attic was actually really, really large. Like the attic pretty much covered the entire living room, bedroom area. The second attic was in my bedroom, right above kind of like the bed meets the bathroom area. My sister is like, oh my gosh, how crazy would it be if there's like one box left over in the attic that like the old family left in the attic. You know how like every scary movie, there's always one box left in the attic and it's just filled with like kind of what starts the whole bad stuff to happen. So I'm like, there's no way, the attic's probably empty, whatever. We go up into the attic and I look around the attic and I don't see anything. Looks pretty empty. And then I notice in the back corner, deep and tucked between fiberglass and like wood planks, we see one box. It's like a Dish Network box, and inside the box are like old children's pillows, just like some old vintage looking pillows, and then like a black trash bag. My sister and I get down and we run and we tell my mom, we're like, Mom, we found a freaking box in the attic, like it's filled with pillows. Adam comes over and is like, oh, you guys probably put that box up there, didn't you? Like, I'm gonna go up there and see for myself. Adam goes and walks up into this attic, okay? My mom, my sister and I are sitting in the kitchen and we just hear a yell from the attic. Adam goes, hey, did you guys see this? Adam comes down from the attic and shows us possibly the creepiest thing I've ever touched, felt, seen, been in the possession of in my entire freaking life. Adam hands my sister and I a wood plank. This piece of wood looks like it's legitimately like someone was playing in the attic and just ripped a piece of wood off the stilts of the house. He hands me this plank and I get it in my hand and I just feel like the most disgusting energy. Did not feel good touching this wood plank. On one side of the plank, it was a drawing in like Sharpie of a girl standing on like a field of grass. She has black gloves on and she has no face and no eyes and she has a bow in her hair. On the other side of the plank, it had another girl with eyes and a face. I think she had like ponytails and she was wearing a dress. And in green crayon on this plank, it said Main Street, Spanish Fork, 2:30 p.m., both brothers. Okay? So Adam finds this wood plank in the attic. I tell him where he found this wood plank and he said it was right in the middle of the freaking attic when he got up there. Mind you, that's where my sister and I just were. We literally were standing in the middle of the attic and that was not there. We're freaking out and suddenly it feels like I'm literally living in a scary movie and I've just gotten like the first clue that's about to like unravel everything. Me being like the detective I am, suddenly I'm like Googling Spanish Forks on main streets, trying to find like the old owners of the house, what they looked like, the history, if anyone died in the house. I'm doing like death searches on Google. My mom is just like, put the plank back exactly where you found it. Basically like my mom's point of view was like, put that exactly back where you found it and close the attic and just like, don't like, basically like don't disturb the evidence or like the energy. So Adam went back up into the attic and put it in like the far corner of the attic where we would pretty much never see it again. Kind of like tucked it away and hid it into just like a deep corner of the attic so that it would just kind of like go away. So nothing happened until 2 months later when Coachella happened. After Coachella, Adam had gotten a job in Mexico where he had to go to Mexico for 3 days. This was the first time since we started staying with each other after all of the bad stuff happened in Malibu that I would be alone in the house. I hadn't been alone in a house overnight in 8 months. So we come home from Coachella and Adam leaves to Mexico that night. And this was the first night that I had slept in my house alone. Everything was fine. I was feeling a little bit of anxiety, but like mostly I was just like, I'm gonna power through these 3 days. Everything's gonna be fine. Adam's gonna get home and like the whole ghost stuff will be totally behind us. The first night that Adam was gone, I went to bed in my normal bed just as I normally would. This night, I woke up 5 times throughout the night. The worst sleep of my life was this night. And mind you, like I want you to understand, number one, I have never in my entire life had like insomnia problems with sleeping. I don't wake up in the middle of the night for anything. Something very bad was happening this night. The first time that I woke up this night was about 2:45 in the morning. I woke up at this time and I felt this disgusting vibe of like hostility. I felt not only alone, but also at the same time that I felt alone, I felt like I was alone with something else and I wasn't protected. Like, I just get very weird vibes if I'm up a little bit too late and it gets around 3 in the morning, because I know that's like the devil's hour. So I knew when I woke up at 2:45, I had to immediately get back to bed because I was not trying to be awake in this house alone during 3 in the morning. Like, no. I ended up going back to sleep, but then I woke up again at around 3:15. 3:15, I woke up and my arm was asleep. I was wide awake. I wasn't like having sleep paralysis. It felt like my arm was just dead. Like, you know, when you lay on your arm for too long and you like legitimately can't move it. And I kind of try to lean up, but my arm is so asleep, I can't even support myself. I start to like flail my arm around trying to wake it up again. And now I'm just freaking out because if you wake up at 3:15 in the morning and you've been like being followed by a ghost for 3 years, you're just not gonna feel safe. Like, you're just not gonna feel that comfortable. So then I start panicking and I'm like, Ava, wake that freaking arm up. And as soon as I get my arm awake, I start to hear footsteps in my attic right above me. I'm not talking about one footstep. I'm not talking about one little like creak. I'm not talking about a little rodent walking up the stairs. Like, I'm not talking about a mouse. I was hearing multiple footsteps. Like, my first instinct, like, it would have sounded like people were having like a meeting upstairs and were like getting into their seat. My first instinct was that some sort of like meeting was happening in my attic. And mind you, I'm wide awake at this time. Like, I sat completely up from bed. I was fully coherent. I was not having a nightmare, a dream. Like, I was awake 100%. Laid back down and tried my hardest to just go back to sleep. I ended up going back to sleep for about an hour. Then I woke up again. This time I woke up and my head was on my pillow. I was kind of like sleeping, you know, just like with my blanket very pulled over my head. I wake up, I kid you not, to the sound of a cat being attacked. Just a cat being like, you know that sound when you hear like a cat getting into a fight in like the street outside your house in the middle of the night? It was like that noise. At this point, I've pretty much come to the conclusion that something is in my house trying to mess with me, trying to play around with my emotions, make me feel scared and vulnerable. I'm just trying to like make myself in my mind believe that possibly there's like a cat outside that's like getting its ass kicked. I'm just trying to create something that is not inside my house. But as I listen to the cat noise even more, it gets louder and louder. And I begin to realize that the cat noise is not coming from outside my house, but inside. It sounds as if a cat is in my other attic, in the attic that's in the studio room. And I have a cat. In this moment, I didn't have a dog, so it wasn't even like I had a dog and a cat like fighting each other. I only had my cat. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but in this moment, I legitimately was like, something is trying to get me to believe that my cat is in danger in the attic. Maybe they think I'm stupid and I'm going to like leave my bed at 4 in the morning to go like investigate because I care about my cat so much. Also, the noise was definitely coming from my attic, which my cat would never have access to because it was locked and like it's on the freaking ceiling and nothing is like leading to it. It just didn't make sense. And so I knew that this was something trying to test how dumb I was, pretty much. So I stayed in my bed and I basically just had to like fall asleep to the sound of a cat dying in my attic. Yeah, it was really not fun. It was really disturbing. I woke up again during this night, but nothing particularly like creepy was happening. At this point, it was around 5 in the morning and I decided to just stay up and then that I would like sleep when the sun came out, just because this was the 5th time that I'd woken up this night and I was over it. So I basically just played on my phone and stayed up all night until the sun came up. And then at around 6:30, when the sun was like dusk, like the room was kind of like blue, I ended up going to bed for probably like 3 more hours. So this was the worst night of my life. I don't know what was going on this night, but bad things were happening. I don't know if whatever was in the house was like preying on me, waiting for me to be alone and vulnerable. But just the fact that I was good for 8 months until Adam left on that trip. And then like the one night, the first freaking night that I'm home alone, I get woken up 5 times throughout the night with that much like paranormal activity. It just really scared me. I was so scared from this moment. I was so shaken up. The next night that Adam wasn't at home, because Adam wasn't home for 3 days in total, or 3 nights. The next day I slept on my couch in my living room with the TV on and the lights off. Even that scared me too much that the next day I slept with all the lights on in the living room and the TV going. So I don't know what was going on with that night. Comment down below if you have any ideas, if you have any like insight, if that's ever happened to you before. Once Adam came home, I explained to him everything that had gone on. And on that same day, Adam had decided that he was going to put his luggage from Mexico, as well as a lot of stuff that we'd just thrown in like the garage. He decided he would organize organize it and put it all in the attic above the bedroom. Adam comes down from the attic with the wooden plank and goes, "Did you move this?" I go, "No, why in the hell would I move that? Why would I be in my attic? Like, that makes no sense. The attic is already creepy enough. Why would I go out of my way when I'm alone to move that? Like, I don't want to touch that." Adam tells me, smells like a fart. Adam then tells me that when he went up into the attic to move all the stuff from the garage into the attic, the wooden plank was right in the middle of the attic again. I don't know, guys. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I tell him that I did not move that, obviously. I would never go back into my attic and like, there's no point. I'm scared to even look at the attic, like from the ceiling. So now we're both freaking out. We don't know what to do. He puts it back and hides it in the attic again, tucks it away. We move everything into the attic, lock the attic up again, and basically just move on from that moment. Oof, cracked my lip liner. So a couple more months pass where Adam and I are sleeping together every single night. Nothing particularly paranormal happens. So around May, June is when we got Hanalei, which is our dog. At this time we were training Hanalei because she was a puppy, so she wasn't sleeping in our bedroom, she was sleeping in the living room. Nothing paranormal happened at all. She was totally fine in the living room. And then when she got old enough for us to finally sleep with her, that's when things got weird again. This was just so weird. Like the first night that we let her sleep with us, we'd fallen asleep and woken up at around 2:30 in the morning again. And you don't even know how disturbing of a sight this is, guys. If this is, I'm sure there's people out there that are watching this that this has happened to. We woke up at like 2:30 in the morning, both Adam and I, for no sound whatsoever. Like nothing was happening to make us wake up. And Hanalei is just sitting on the bed, dead focused, staring at the window. She's staring at the window like she's staring at something and it's staring at her and they're like having a staring contest. All of a sudden, Hanalei starts to growl. We're like, "Hanalei, it's okay. Like, what are you looking at? Nothing's out there. It's fine." I go and I look out the window. I'm very hesitant because I don't know what I'm going to see. And of course, there's nothing outside of the window. No cars, no squirrels, no dogs, nothing. It's 2:30 in the morning. Hanalei starts to growl again and I look outside with her while she's growling. Nothing's going on. Nothing's going on. She started with staring out the window, but then it got even creepier to where I would wake up in the middle of the night with Adam and Hanalei would be facing a wall, just a wall in the house, like not even facing a window, not even facing anything with like activity at all, like a blank wall because I didn't have any paintings up at this time or like pictures. She would growl at the walls, she would growl at the windows, she would growl like menacingly, like as if she was trying to scare something away. And she would do this for like hours. I never understood what that was for, but Hanalei would just do that a lot. After Hanalei started growling at the walls and everything, I started to have these like visions when I would sleep that weren't necessarily like dreams and they weren't nightmares. They were just kind of like visions that were coming to me. This is gonna sound super weird, but just bear with me. Now, like I said, my house was built in the 1920s. So the house had been redone since the 1920s. Parts had been added onto the house. The kitchen had been moved around a bit. Walls had been knocked down. So the layout of my house now in like 2017 obviously is not the same house that it was in like the 1920s. I started to get these visions that my bedroom, the master bedroom where Adam and I would sleep, in my head, I would get these visions that my bedroom actually used to be a part of the living room or maybe like a reading room. And I would just have these visions of the same wood floor, this like cherry wood floor that's in my house. But I would see a rocking chair and this old woman rocking on the rocking chair right by the master bedroom window. And she would just be rocking back and forth. No rug, no other furniture, and her just rocking on the rocking chair. And I saw kids in my vision, 5 to like 7. I told Adam that and he just got really freaked out. That kind of never like manifested into anything, but that's just another thing to add on, that I started having like visions of how the house used to look before it was like demolished and made a little bit different. We took a trip during the summer to New York with Hanalei. When we got back from the trip, I immediately went into my kitchen and just started cleaning. My friends and I hung out a lot at the kitchen island, so I just wanted to make sure it was like squeaky clean. So I'd cleaned my whole kitchen island, like I made it spotless, nothing was on it. I'm a very minimalistic person when it comes to like my living room area. Clean my living room 100%, guys. Walk away to my bedroom for literally like 1 second. Mind you, the kitchen counter is empty. I come back into the kitchen and there's this like torn yellow piece of paper laying on my kitchen island. I come up and I pick up the paper. Guys, I cannot even like, what I find is an old German restaurant takeout menu. Mind you, never in my life have I been to a German restaurant in Los Angeles. And it's ripped down the middle. So like usually if you're writing something, you'd like rip it sideways. I flipped the paper over, and of course in the same crayon that was on the freaking wooden plank in my attic, same crayon is like dark black sky with stars on it. And then a drawing of two girls holding hands, like with the night sky over them. One had blonde hair, one had dark hair. Okay, first off, I don't even own crayons. I've never owned crayons since I've moved to LA. I don't know anyone that owns crayons. So this made no sense on top of the fact that it freaking magically appeared on my kitchen island. At this point, I immediately take a picture of this and I text it to anyone that had the access to my house when I was out of town, which the only person that had access was the person that fed my cat. I texted them and I was like, what is this? Did you do this? Did you draw this? Do you know where this came from? They're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I texted them back and I was like, if you're playing a prank on me, this is not funny. This is so serious. I don't know who told you about the wooden plank in my attic, but like it just magically appeared in my countertop. So like, even if they did do it to play a prank, who put it on my countertop when I wasn't looking? So I'm freaking out. Adam throws it away, okay? He like throws it away. He's like, get that out of the house. That needs to go. I tell my mom, she's freaking out. And yeah. That was the first time that anything relatively paranormal had happened when Adam and I were in the same house together, aside from Hanalei barking at nothing. But after that was when I quickly started looking for a new house to live, just because, not like paranormal stuff aside, I just wanted to buy a house really bad. And we'd pretty much outgrown the Beverly Hills house just because we had a dog, a cat, an office space, like filming. Wasn't a lot of filming space. The living room was really cramped and small. And so we ended up moving from Beverly Hills and I bought a house in the Valley, which is where I live right now. But yeah, we never found out what Main Street Spanish Fork was. We never found out what the Both Brothers were. We never found out what happened at 2:30 p.m. We never found out anything about that house. All I know is that I had really creepy experiences in that house, and nothing ever like that has happened since then, and nothing had ever happened even close to that night that I went through waking up 5 times with all that activity happening. This house just has a lot of question marks, and it kind of made me, oh, can't forget, guys. Also, when Adam went back up to put all the luggage in the attic, he opened that black trash bag that was in the original, like, kind of like cardboard box that was left in the attic. And the black trash bag was filled with children's clothes, old children's clothes. Also, we noticed that in the attic, there is this like rug that they'd put down on the wood plank area. And in the rug, I'm pretty sure the rug was originally like a white color, but it had been stained green in a lot of areas. I went up in the attic with him and started to kind of like look at all the stuff. I wanted to kind of get more clues on what exactly was going down in the attic. I did some like private forensic investigating of my own, you know? And on the rug, I found that there was like Play-Doh chunks, like crusty old Play-Doh stuck into the rug. I'm in my attic searching for clues, and there's literally dried kids' Play-Doh on this rug. There's like beads. This says Ryan's stuff. There's children's beads and Play-Doh. Ugh. There was like children's beads all stuck inside the rug and then like trailed and littered a little bit on the fiberglass. So I don't know, that leads me to believe that kids were playing in the attic for some time, like using that attic as like a play space, which that attic is not safe, so I don't know. Basically, someone that used to live there was putting their kids in the attic and the kids were playing with Play-Doh and beads. So yeah, that is the Beverly Hills house. Never pieced together any of the facts. All I know is that something was in that house, and it felt like there was like haunted kids in the house. It felt like there was an old person in the house. It felt like there was a group of people in the house all together at night. I don't even know. I'm not sure if every place that I go has just happens to be haunted, or if it's me that's traveling around and like whatever they are latching on to me and like trying to show me things. I don't know if that's called a medium. I don't know what that's called, but I feel like every single time that this happens to me, like it's the freaking worst. It's the worst feeling being alone and like vulnerable and having things try to scare you. I've been thinking about doing a finale video to wrap up all parts of the ghost story and like bring a medium into my new house now and talk to them about like if I'm a medium, what they think of the whole story, what they think is going on with me. I think that'd be really cool. So I'm gonna try to find a medium in the LA area that's down to come over and talk to me about all of this. If you guys happen to know any like cool Instagram people, let me know in the comments down below, or tweet me or Instagram me so that I know to contact them, because I'm trying to see if I'm a medium. So yeah, that's pretty much everything that's happened to me so far as I can remember. I currently live in the Valley now and everything seems pretty good here. Like the vibe is good in my house, but then again, Who knows? So that is it for this video, guys. Give this video a big thumbs up if you like when I do these types of videos. Also, make sure to hit subscribe if you haven't already. Go follow me on Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff. Leave me a comment down below letting me know what you guys think of the entire series and what you guys think of this particular story. Also, piece together the conspiracy, you guys, because I'm really trying to see your guys' conspiracies on what all this meant in this house. I think it's really interesting, and even me, like, I can't figure it out. That is it for this video, guys. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next week for a new video. Goodbye, schnitzels. Mwah. Bye, guys. Stay spooky. Bye, guys. No! Dang it. Seriously?